to Green Scholar. If you like and understand the subject, do like and share. So for today's topic, we are going to discuss about the plasma membrane. As we all know that plasma membrane is a second wall which is present in the eukaryotic cell and prokaryotic cell also. So in animal cell, it is like there is no cell wall, so the plasma membrane is present on the outer layer. Okay, so inside this plasma membrane, suppose if this is the cell wall, this is the plasma membrane, and here inside this there is the lumen or your cytoplasm. Okay, so we will discuss this layer, that is plasma membrane. Okay, so plasma membrane is also named as cell membrane or plasma lemma. Okay, structurally or there are certain basic characters of plasma membrane, like it is thin living wall, as the cell wall is like non-living one, it is living one. Then here it is flexible, and this membrane surrounds the cytoplasm. Okay, it separates the internal and external environment of the cell, because inside this cell, okay, like here it is cytoplasm, and suppose there will be adjacent cell, so this plasma membrane builds a wall between two cells. Okay, next it controls the movement of the substances in and out of the cell. Like any wall which prevents, which controls, which regulate that who will come inside or who will go outside, similarly the plasma membrane also controls the movement of the substances which are coming in and out of the cell. Okay, the most important character of plasma membrane, that it is a selectively permeable. When we are saying selectively permeable, it means that it selects or it decides that which solute or which organic substance will be coming inside or going outside. Okay, not everything is allowed inside. Okay, so it's selectively permeable. Okay, next is it is present in both prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell, as I mentioned earlier also, and the basic thickness of the cell is 7 to 10 nanometer. Okay, next, that who discovered this plasma membrane? It was discovered by the Singer and Nicholson in 1972, and they gave the model of Fluid Mosaic Model. Okay, so we will discuss that also, but first we will see that what is the basic chemical composition of plasma membrane. So chemically, the plasma membrane is made up of lipids, proteins and carbohydrates. Remember this. So phospholipids are lipids which are present in the plasma membrane, that is of 40 to 50% the constituent is lipids, then 50 to 60% are the proteins, and carbohydrate 5 to 10%. Also you will find there is presence of cholesterol. Okay, and it is, I think in the animal cell you will find the presence of cholesterol in the plasma membrane. Okay, so lipid, that is the phospholipids, then glycolipids, sterol, as I mentioned again here, cholesterol in animal cell. Then proteins, there are two types of protein, one is integral protein and peripheral protein. When we say integral, it means the inside one. Okay, and peripheral, the position is on the outer side of the plasma membrane. Okay, then carbohydrate, there are two forms, that is glycoproteins and glycolipids. When the compound is connected to the protein, it is called as glycoprotein. When the carbohydrating compound is connected to the lipid, it is called as glycolipids. Okay, so as I said, the plasma membrane structure, it is called as the fluid mosaic model. Okay, so we will discuss that how is the basic structure of plasma membrane. So as I said earlier that chemically plasma membrane is made up of the phospholipids. Okay, so structurally the phospholipid is like this, having a head, okay, head like phosphate head and a tail of fatty acid. This phosphate head is hydrophilic and this fatty acid tail is hydrophobic. Remember, whenever we are using the word philic, it means that it is loving one, and whenever we are using the phobic, it means that it is having the fear. Fear for what? Fear for the hydromolecules. Okay, so structurally, here this lipid molecule, that is phospholipid, having the head and tail. So there are two layers of lipids. Okay, one is on the outer side and one is facing innerwards. Okay, so that's why it is called as bilayer. Bilayer of what? Bilayer of the phospholipids. Okay, one is facing outward and one is facing inward. Okay, so to the in between these phospholipid molecules, you will find that there are proteins which are present, and these proteins are, as we seen earlier also, that there are integral proteins and peripheral proteins. So integral proteins are those which are present in between, okay, and peripheral proteins which are present on the outer side of this phospholipid layer. And the third thing, if the carbohydrating compound, that is glycoprotein and glycolipids. So here, if the lipid, that is glycolipid, if it is connected to the phospholipid, here it is called as glycolipid. If it is connected to this protein, it is called as glycoprotein. Okay, yeah. So so there are three different things you need to remember. One is two layers of lipid, okay, facing towards inwards and outwards. Second is there are integral proteins and peripheral proteins, okay, and the third is these glycolipid and glycoprotein molecules which are present in this plasma membrane. So this whole is the basic structure of plasma membrane. Okay, it looks simple, but it is a very complex structure. Okay, so phospholipid, the head faces upwards towards the aqueous environment and tail towards the inwards. Okay, so proteins, there are integral proteins and peripheral proteins. The function of these protein is that, like, integral protein helps in the transport of the protein, okay, while the peripheral protein, it provides a structural support. Okay, so next, what is the basic function of plasma membrane? It provides a kind of a shape to the cell. Okay, it provides it protects the cell, and as we have seen, it is a selectively permeable. Okay, and third is it maintains the homeostasis. Maintains the homeostasis means it maintains the temperature, okay, according to the outer environment. Okay, next is the cell communication and recognition. It helps in the signaling or receiving the signals, okay, from the other cell. It recognizes and then it passes the signal inside the cell. Okay, next is it helps in transport of nutrients and the waste. Okay, and the most important, it is endocytosis and the exocytosis, which takes place inside the cell, and exo is outer side of the cell. Okay, so this is the basic fluid mosaic model. Okay, a beautiful model of the plasma membrane. Here you can see these are phospholipid molecules, okay, facing upwards and facing downwards. Okay, these are your integral proteins and peripheral proteins. Here you can see that for transportation there is a channel is created, and into this channel the molecules are being communicated inside or outside the cell. Okay, and here you can see the beautiful glycolipid which are being connected with the lipid molecules. Okay, and here this glycoprotein connected to the protein molecules. So structurally there are three things, as we have studied earlier also. Here phospholipid molecules, proteins, and glycoprotein and glycolipid. So don't forget to like, subscribe this channel, that is Google your Green Scholar. Okay, thank you.